What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to basically be breaking down which properties do qualify for a novation deal and which ones don't. When I say qualify is basically to let you guys know what to exactly look for when you're pitching a novation deal and what not to pitch a novation deal on. So essentially, which ones work and which ones don't. So probably by the end of this video, if you're already a wholesaler or if you're just getting started, you know which properties will actually work for a novation deal and which ones will not, right? So that's the whole purpose of this video. So if you want to follow along, a quick recap on the ideal scenario for a novation deal, guys, is pretty much good neighborhoods, right? You want to list the property at a ideal price where it's going to sell fast within the couple weeks, right? So you want to list yourself below market value of what everybody's selling their property at, because if you sell it at the same price everybody's selling it and what, the actual value of the property is, you're going to sit there like everybody else, especially in the market we're in right now. So what I like to do is price my properties a little bit low and be competitive and actually create a kind of like I would say like a demand in the market where everybody's like, why is this property cheaper? Let me go check it out. And they go check it out and they end up buying it, right? So that's the whole thing, that I like to do. Obviously, cosmetic upgrades only, guys. No structural major repairs. You do not want to pick up those kinds of properties. We're talking about clean properties that we want to pick up. So let me just kind of just show you here. Let's go here. Zillow.com. So you guys can get an idea. I'll actually show you a few of my novations that I have here. So this one's going to be posted soon. So for example, this is a condo. This is a novation deal that I have listed right now. And I actually list my properties with Baycom. So if you guys understand, this is what we're looking for. Boom. Something like this. That doesn't need too much work. And you can go as far as, let's see here, just so you can understand. I'll just pick another property. Something like this could be a perfect novation deal where it's outdated, but it will still pass the inspection. I want to get not this area, so let me just remove this boundary. Okay. Let's pull up Miami. We're not. Sorry about the internet, guys. I'm just taking a little bit long. So let's do it for sale, and we'll just go here and look to these photos. So this right here, boom, perfect novation. This might even be a novation, guys. Let's see here. Yeah, this might even be a novation. Because look, there's no floor in the property. Look at this. So, you see how there's no structural damage with the property? It's pretty much just cosmetic issues. Like no flooring and stuff like that. This will easily pass a conventional loan. Right? So again, guys, we are actually looking for properties just like this, right, where there's nothing structurally wrong with the property and the seller's not willing to take that 70%. So you're going to end up pitching them a novation deal and picking up this property for close to retail and listing it under market value, right? So if it's worth, let's say $560 and you list it at $440 and there's only thing to fix is the flooring, this thing is going to sell. Let's actually look how many days it's been on market. It's only been 5 days, 190 days, 190 saved, a 99% chance to sell faster than everybody else. I guarantee you this property is worth probably around $260, and this is a novation deal, the first one I pulled up. Well, I pulled up on one of mine, but this is insane. This might actually be innovation deal, chat. So yeah, pretty much that's the type of thing listing we're looking for. We'll also do stuff like this, but it will be hard. Sorry about that, guys. It will be hard for the seller to come down on the price, right? And for you guys that have been watching my videos, and you guys know the formula, right? So essentially, we are looking for properties that are retail ready, that don't need a lot of work. The roof is not fucked up. The foundation is not fucked up. The plumbing's not fucked up. Nothing is fucked up except cosmetic issues, right? So if you think about it, the best properties to pick up are brand new homes or homes that are older but in good condition, right? As long as you can get the seller to agree on the price that makes sense for you, and that there's still enough spread that you can list the property, pay for the closing costs, and still make a decent amount of money. So again, guys, these are the types of properties that we are looking for, right? Newer homes, it can be also older homes, but that don't have, major issues, right? So going back to this presentation that I made for you guys, basically a deep dive of what I kind of just went over on Zillow is paint, interior, minor flooring, kitchen and baths, update landscaping, or minor handyman repairs. That's why this property, I still believe it is a Novation deal. That's crazy. That is crazy. So yeah, again, basically a rule of thumb, less than 25K in repairs, nothing major. Please, guys, stay away from those problems, because if you actually pick up one of those things and you end up selling it, there's certain loans that will require for you to get, let's say, the roof replaced before closing. And I would hate to say, let's say if you don't have the money to get the roof replaced and the buyer doesn't, you basically just wasted the seller's time, you wasted your time, you wasted the buyer's time, because now the seller is not going to want to pay because you already pitched them on a white glove service where you're going to be paying for anything that actually comes up on the report, right? Or let's say you agreed with them on a price and you said, look, I'm going to give you this no matter what happens on my end. I'm going to be paying for all the repairs, if there is any repairs to be done, and all the closing costs. So you're putting yourself in a position to where you're going to fail. So don't pick up properties that need, a shit ton of work. Pick up properties that don't need a lot of work, right? Max 20 to 25K, no roof issues, no plumbing, no electrical issues, none of that stuff, right? So a good example is needs fresh paint, new carpets, let's say 7K, 7 to 10K, ideal in repairs, right? A bad property would be a cracked foundation, mold, major roof damage, 40K in repairs. Those are the ones you want to avoid, okay? So financing and appraisal requirements, very important. Guys, they must pass retail finance, right? They also have to have easy inspection passes. Nothing red flags, nothing that screams like an issue, like a fucked up panel or a major, let's say a tree on top of a roof. Guys, we want to make these properties very, very simple so that you can actually close on them like lightning speed, right? Because a lot of people get novations, and including me, I mean, these things do take time. But what I want to basically teach you guys is how to pick up these deals that are in your CRM or that you're calling that don't need a lot of repairs, and that you can post them on the MLS and list them on the MLS and get these things sold within a couple of weeks, right? So conventional FHA loans, dominate retail buying, strict appraiser standards apply. Appraisals must justify MLS price, always have strong supporting comps ready. Inspectors typically flag health and safety issues, fix up front to avoid buyer cancellations if it's called for. I don't do that. What I basically do is I just wait for the inspection report to come back when the buyer actually proceeds to engage in buying the property and places his earnest money deposit and all that. So, these are just little items to basically, I would say pass the inspection with flying colors. If you are experienced and you know what's going on with the property and you already know, okay, I'm going to have to fix that. But sometimes you could just wait for the inspection to come around and the inspector can tell you to replace it or not, right? So I would always play that card first and see where the buyer is actually at, like if he's okay with closing it like that or he actually wants it replaced. So always wait to get it inspected first, right? Because there's certain things, if you're picking up properties that don't need roof repairs, that don't need plumbing repairs, that don't need electrical repairs, right? And none of that stuff, and it's pretty much just cosmetic. And you're talking about GFIs, you're talking about, stupid stuff that the inspector is going to say, okay, you need to fix that. Sometimes the buyers might even be okay with closing on those issues, and they can take care of fixing that later. So it's always important to always pick up properties that need minimal work as much as possible. Don't start picking up these properties with roof repairs, electrical and plumbing issues, just because the seller won't take your cash offer, and now you have to pitch them on Novation. When you're more experienced, then you can start doing these deals, right? If the numbers make sense. But if you're just starting out in Novation, just stick to properties that don't need a lot of work, right? And that the numbers might make sense for the seller and you, so that you can make money as well. So, pricing, requirements, and appraisal strategy. So, pricing, like I said, I always like to list these properties below market value. Right? And what I mean by that is, like, let's say if everything's listed for, like I was talking about this one. So everything's listed, let's say in this area. Where is this property here? Okay, let's just pull up some let's just go to a random location here. I used to live in Orlando, so let's just pull up Orlando. Guys, bear with me. My internet is super slow right now. I don't know what's going on, chat. Okay, so let's say this area here. Okay, fuck. Hold on. Oh my god. Are you insane? So here we go. Look. Now, all the properties in this area, let's say a 3-2. Oh, I'm bad. Are you serious? Okay. All right, guys, let's just forget that for now. Internet's super slow. I'll just try one more time. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. So let's pull this up here, this zip code. So, okay guys, I got this pulled up. I'm trying my best here. Just bear with me. I'm having technical difficulties, boys. So, but anyway, what I basically want to explain to you guys, it's not really going. My internet's super slow right now. I'll have to call AT&T in the morning. But I want you guys to understand that you have to list these properties below market, below the actual properties that are for sale. So if everything's for sale for $400,000, list that thing for like $380,000, right? Because $380,000 is going to cause a huckus in the market, right? Everybody's going to be like, why the fuck is this property listed for $380,000 when everything's $400,000? Let's go check it out. That creates basically a movement, right? That creates energy. People are going to want to see that property, and they're going to end up buying it. That's how you sell properties in 2 weeks on the MLS. List it below the price that everybody's listing it for. So just make sure when you're picking up with the seller, you take in consideration that percentage that you're going to list it below everybody else, right? So quick little recap, guys. Cosmetic repairs only, good retail friendly locations, financing friendly, strategic MLS slightly below the ARV, seller clearly understands the Novation process and inspections, right? Okay, so that's how you actually understand which properties will work for Novation, which ones to look out for, how to actually price them correctly. So this is actually a video of actually, not just what type of properties qualify, but actually which price to list the properties at, right? So that's pretty much for this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.